ally members in the audience. Here today with our friends at IPG, talking about author publishing. We define as the author becoming the creative director of their book from conception to completion. The 4 stages of the publishing process are editorial, very important. So we encourage all our members to ensure that they have their work sufficiently edited, which may include a copy edit as well as proofreading and various forms of line editing. Then there is design, which includes both the cover, how it's going to look, really, really important that it's on message in terms of what the reader expects from that type of book, and that it evokes the emotional resonance of the book if it's fiction, or gives a clear sense of what the content is directing people to do if it's non-fiction. Design also encompasses the interior, the font, the look of the text on the page, the number of pages, how it's laid out, and so on. So that's design. Then there is distribution. How are you going to get the book from the production stage into the hands of readers, or make it available in online stores, perhaps in bookstores as well, perhaps on your own website, the various ways in which you distribute it and get it out there and make it available for sale. And then finally, there's reaching readers, the promotion and marketing of the book so that people know it exists and the right people are introduced to it and aware of it so that they can buy it.
A lot of people come to us when they have written a certain amount of material and they want help completing their book, or they've completed their book and they're anxious to get somebody other than a friend or a member of the family to give professional advice. And that could be a reader's report, which is a sort of overview of what an editor would think works or doesn't work. Or it could be quite involving and involve significant intervention from an editor, an experienced editor, in a structural edit. And what we're finding is the people that work with us in the beginning in that way are then very interested in the subsequent services available to them that would be the usual process that a book would go through if it went through a publisher. So a structural edit leading to a copy edit, leading to a proofread, and then that book being made available. Publishing can often be like a relay race. You can often say, here's the manuscript, given to the editor gives that to somebody, and on it goes down a chain. And what we're trying to do is to put the writer right in the middle of that process. So they are the hub. So they're in control, using us as a sounding board, using our advice and also the advice of the right person at the right time.
So one of the things I think is important for writers who are considering self-publishing to think about, firstly, in terms of the edit, I would always recommend asking the question, does the novel start in the right place? I think often I've seen books where chapter 1 is in fact lots of sort of throat clearing and setting up and backstory and exposition about character. And I would just think, is this really where the story starts? And do I need perhaps to cut a bit of that out and get into the heart of it and trust the reader to be able to work out what's happened before? I think that's an important way, because we're in a world where people are going to make a decision probably on a free sample and they'll want to quickly get into the story. Another thing, I do think title is really important. I think getting the title right for the book and helping the reader feel that this is the sort of read that they're looking for, it is crucial. And a crime novel with a not crimey title is just likely to end up in the wrong hands. What I really think for a self-published writer needs to do is be able to get that descriptive bit of copy sort of as clear as possible, foregrounding any hooks in the story, but also giving a real sense of the territory in which they're writing, to make sure that the readers who are finding and buying their work are readers who will enjoy this material, because that's likely to drive great reviews.
I think that when it comes to the marketing and the publicity, it's almost never too soon to think about it. A lot of self-publishing authors tend to think chronologically, which is very understandable. So they finish writing their book, and as they're finishing writing their book, they start to think about editorial. And then once they move through editorial, they then start to think about how to actually self-publish it. Who will they use to self-publish it? What platform will they use? And it's only once they've almost completed the self-publishing process, in other words, the book is actually produced, that they start to think about marketing. And I think that that's a mistake, because so much of what you do early on, book cover is a really good example, distribution is another. You can either have a positive or a negative effect on the publicity and the marketing campaign.